For this crochet project, you're going to need 2 crochet hooks. You're going to need your 3.75 millimeter crochet hook for most of the crochet dog. The reason that I used my 6 millimeter crochet hook is if you're making the heart for the paw. It just helps to make it larger. And of course you'll need your tapestry needle or darning needle, and my favorite one is with the pointy end with the large eye. You'll also need a pair of scissors. For my crochet dog, I use this adorable nose. I got this nose from 6060eyes.com. You can see that has a really large washer that goes on the back. So I know that people say, you know, to be cautious with the safety doll eyes, and of course I say the same thing, but realistically, trying to get this through one of the crochet holes, I've never been able to do it. So I think they're pretty secure. But again, we have to say to be cautious because it depends on the person making the item and who the item is being made for. And then also you're going to need safety eyes. So I don't have the other latch, but I've got it on the side. These are 15 millimeter safety eyes, and again I got these from 6060 Eyes. They have the gorgeous hand painted wreath around these eyes. It's the gold colored one. If you like the blue eyes that I use, these are also 15 millimeter eyes. These are from Fab Lab and I got them from Joanne Craft Store. The only problem with these safety eyes is the dome. I don't like that dome latch. I just cannot get that thing to stay for anything. So what I did was I love these eyes so much I want to use them. As you can see, they just are gorgeous, especially with the black background. So if you do decide that you want to use these eyes, I would recommend maybe your inexpensive black eyes. Oops, drop it. The 15 millimeter one, because those are really inexpensive and those latches fit fine. So I was able to use the 15 millimeter latch from my inexpensive 15 millimeter black eyes. As you can see, my gorgeous little German Shepherd fits the Build-A-Bear police hat and police outfit. So that's optional. I'm putting one on mine, and I'm probably going to go back and get another one of these outfits because for the price, I can't make it myself for that price. I mean, look at that. It has a cute little tie. All of the emblems are in place. It has Build-A-Bear Police Department, but it doesn't matter. That's still cute. So it's up to you, you know, if you want to add the Build-A-Bear outfit, but the hat fits as well as the shirt. And it also comes with a pair of pants. So I'm going to make the pants fit. And what's cute about these pants, they already have the hole in the back for the tail. So it's perfect. So again, the police outfit I got from Build-A-Bear Workshop. And the price of mine was $13.50 for the whole set. So that wasn't too bad. Now for the hat, all I did was just place the elastic on the ears and it stays in place, but I haven't decided yet. I think I'm going to leave it not sewn on, but the rim of the hat goes over the eyes, so I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it that way. It doesn't seem to affect it too much, so I might just leave it. So that's up to you, you know, if you want to sew it down or not for your dog. But other than that, it fits perfectly. So back to the noses, I just want to make sure I have the size for you. Again, I got these cute noses from 6060 Eyes, and the size is 30 millimeter by 6 millimeter. The yarn that I used is by Red Heart Super Saver. I only needed 1 skein of this yarn, and here some people want the ounces. It's 7 ounces, 198 grams, and 364 yards. The color is buff, beige, chamois, medium 4 yarn. You can use a regular Red Heart black colored yarn, which I did for one of my dogs, But for on video tutorial, I'm going to try this gorgeous metallic black yarn by Red Heart with Love. So here's some information about this yarn. And you only need one skein of this yarn as well. So it's 4.5 ounces, 127 grams, 200 yards. And it's a medium 4. And again, this is the black metallic colored yarn. If you love the adorable pattern that I'm going to show you on the paw, with the heart and the little pads for the foot, then the yarn that I used is Lion brand Pound of Love, and it's the light pink colored yarn. It's a baby yarn, and it works great. The other thing that I use with mine that makes it a much easier for attaching the legs are the upholstery needles. So I like the 12-inch upholstery needle. It works really great for attaching the legs. You just have to be real careful with these around children because they are very long and very sharp. The other fun find that I have for my crochet dogs are these adorable little lights, and you can use these with real pets too. It has a cute little dog paw, and when you touch it, it lights up, and then it also blinks, and then you just touch it again, it has a different blinking, and then you could turn it off. So these are real inexpensive, and I got mine off of Amazon Prime, and it comes in this box. And what's really neat is they send you a packet of 5, so it is really cheap. And not only that, but each of these has a battery already in it. You just have to pull the tab off of them, and they also include an extra battery in the pack. So that was a really good, the deal. I have a link for this on my blog if you want to get some of these too. So I liked the deal so much that I purchased 2 of these. And I didn't really get a chance to choose the colors. It comes in a multi-pack, which is fine with me. But if you wanted the blue for your police dog, I don't know if you can look for, I didn't look to see if you can just pick blue, but they come in a pack of 5 with extra batteries, which is awesome. So I'm never probably going to need these batteries again. Just keep those in my extra drawer. But this is just from Zhangde. And here's an email, jdcomer2@gmail.com. And again, I got these off of Amazon Prime. So I will have the link on my blog at www.helenmaycrochet.com if you wanted to get these for some of your crochet dogs as well, or even for your pet dogs. So we're going to start with the snout, and I'm starting with my black colored yarn, and you're also going to need your 3.75 millimeter crochet hook. We're going to start with the magic circle. So the first thing you're going to do is just drape the yarn around your 4 fingers. Use your thumb to stabilize, and then wrap the yarn around your 2 middle fingers twice. Then hold it in place with your pinky and your thumb. Then take your crochet hook, go under those 2 loops around the middle fingers, and then just bring up a loop. And then yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and then just go through the loop for a slip knot. Then you're going to place 6 single crochet into the magic circle. So go right under those 2 loops, bring up a loop, make a single crochet. So you just go under those 2 loops, bring up a loop. You have 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through both loops for your second single crochet. And you're going to repeat this until you have a total of 6 single crochet into the magic circle. So here's 4, 5, and 6. Then just take your forefinger and your thumb and just hold the base of the 6 single crochet. And then you have these 2 loops on the opposite side. You're going to pull on one of them, If it doesn't close when you pull on it, that means that you're going to just let go and then pull on the other one. And then you'll see how it starts to close. Don't worry if you don't get it completely closed at this time, because you can always close it more later. So you don't want to get it too tight, because then you'll have a hard time working into the stitches. Then just grab that loose yarn end and pull on that. Then you can turn your work so that we start crocheting into each of the stitches. So you're going to take your crochet hook and you're going to go into the first stitch on the round. You're going to go through both loops, and then you're going to bring up a loop and make a single crochet. And you're going to make 2 single crochet into the same stitch. So go back into the same stitch, bring up a loop, complete your second single crochet, and then you're going to make 2 single crochet into every stitch in the round. So that means that you're going to have a total of 12 stitches in the round when you're finished. So you increased the stitch count from 6 to 12 by making 2 single crochet into every stitch around. So now I have a total of 4 stitches, and I'm going to continue making 2 single crochet into each of the stitches until I have a total of 12 stitches in the round. So now I would recommend counting your stitches. So I'm going to use my tapestry needle to kind of show you. You can see that here is 1 stitch, and then the second stitch, and you just count the stitches all the way around, and you should have a total of 12. For those of you that have a hard time seeing the stitches on the black colored yarn, I've heard some people say that those lighted crochet hooks help them as they crochet to see the stitches. So that might be an option for you. So now at this point you can take and turn the work over, and you can pull on that loose yarn end, and that will close up the center for you. Now you're going to get your yarn marker. So I just get one of my scraps of yarn, and then I just place it right where I left off. And we're going to continue with increase rounds. And what I mean by increase rounds is we're going to continue to increase the number of stitches in the round as we crochet. So for this first increase round, you're going to be making 1 single crochet into the first stitch, and then 2 single crochet into the second stitch. And you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. So you're going to make 1 single crochet into the first stitch, and then 2 single crochet into the second stitch. So go ahead, repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. So now you should have a total of 18 stitches in the round. And for those of you that already know how to make increase rounds, we're going to be increasing to 1 single crochet in 3 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the 4th stitch. So now we're going to move up to the next increase round. Go ahead and take your yarn marker and move it up to where you left off. And this time you're going to make 1 single crochet into 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the 3rd stitch. And then you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. 1 single crochet into 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the 3rd stitch. Repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. So now you should have a total of 24 stitches in the round. And now we're going to make our last increase round. Go ahead and take and move your yarn marker up. And this time you're going to be making 1 single crochet into 3 stitches. And then 2 single crochet into the 4th stitch. and you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. So 1 single crochet into 3 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the 4th stitch, repeating that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. Now you should have a total of 30 stitches in the round, and you want to maintain that stitch count now for the next 3 rounds. So just take and move your yarn marker up, and now you're not going to remove the yarn marker. You're just going to keep crocheting around until you have a total of 3 rounds. And each time you pass the yarn marker, you should still have a stitch count of 30. So now you're just going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch around until you have a total of 3 rounds. Okay, so now after you finish your 3 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch, you can go ahead and remove your yarn marker and then just leave a little bit of a loop where you left off, and you can turn your work. We're going to place the safety nose. So just turn your work so that the loop is towards the bottom. And then just take your safety nose that you're using, and you're going to line it up so that the bottom of the nose lines up with the top of the magic circle. So here's the magic circle where we started, and we're going to line up the nose with the top of that magic circle. So you can see how my nose lines up with the magic circle. Then I'm going to take and place the safety latch onto the back. Then you're going to take and resume crocheting where we left off. Go ahead and take your yarn marker and place it right where you left off. And this time you're only going to make 1 single crochet into about 7 stitches, which will bring you up to around the side of the nose. So just make 1 single crochet into the next 7 stitches. So here's my second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and 7th. Now you're going to join your new colored yarn. So just take your crochet hook, go into the next stitch over and bring up a loop. So now you have 2 loops on your hook, and you're going to bring in your alternate color or your main color, and then just bring the yarn through both loops. Then go ahead and chain 1. Then you're going to take and just tie a knot, and you're not going to cut your yarn because you're going to be carrying both colored yarn. So the black colored yarn and your beige colored yarn or tan. So you're just going to tie a knot to secure the 2 colors in place. And now you're just going to take the black colored yarn and you're going to carry it and bury it as you crochet. So we can change colors on the opposite side of the snout. Now this is where you can create unique looks for your particular dog. So I'm going to show you how to color change, so you'll be able to color change wherever you want for your particular dog. For my dog, I made 1 single crochet with the beige colored yarn for 14 stitches. So I'm going to take and go into the first stitch, and I'm going to go behind the black colored yarn, and I'm going to bring up a loop with my beige colored yarn. And then I'm going to yarn over and go through both loops for a single crochet. And you can see how you're carrying the black yarn with you. So again, I did this for 1 single crochet into each stitch for a total of 14 stitches for my dog. I'm just going to show you a few stitches so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going behind the black yarn, so the black yarn is being carried as I crochet because I need it on the opposite side to change colors. So I'll be dropping my beige colored yarn or tan colored yarn and switching to the black yarn at that point. So now you can see I have a total of 4 stitches, and I'm doing this for a total of 14 stitches of 1 single crochet in every stitch, and I'm carrying my black yarn as I crochet. So go ahead, finish making 1 single crochet into 14 stitches, and then come back. So this is what my work looks like so far, and you can see that I have 1 single crochet into 14 stitches, and I have my black yarn that I crocheted around. So now I want to change colors. So I'm going to drop the beige colored yarn behind the black colored yarn, and now you're going to crochet around the beige or tan colored yarn. So you're going to go into the next stitch, and you can go ahead and remove your yarn marker now because you can tell what round you're on by counting the beige colored rounds. So then you're going to go and make a single crochet using your black colored yarn. And you're carrying your beige colored yarn. So I'm going behind the beige colored yarn now and making 1 single crochet in every stitch with my black colored yarn. So you're going to repeat this 1 single crochet in every stitch, and you're carrying and crocheting around the beige colored yarn, and you're going to stop when you get to the stitch right before the color change. So right before the color change is where you're going to stop. And then occasionally as you're crocheting around your beige colored yarn, you might want to give it a gentle tug occasionally. Don't pull it too tight because then it will create a vise and just kind of cinch your snout down. You don't want to create that. So just a gentle tug if you need to as you make your stitches around the beige colored yarn. So now I'm right before, you can see how I have the black colored stitch right before the beige colored stitch, and you can also see that it looks like a stitch right before the color change. This is where the stitch count can sometimes get messed up, where you start adding stitches to your round or decreasing stitches in the round. So for beginners, I recommend counting your stitches because remember, we should have a total of 30 stitches total in the round. So you want to maintain that stitch count. So this color change that I did from the previous round doesn't count as a stitch. So now I'm going to drop the black colored yarn behind the beige colored yarn, and then I'm going to go right into the stitch, and you can cinch the black yarn around your crochet hook if you need to, if it got too loose, and then just go into that stitch behind the black colored yarn and bring up a loop, and then yarn over and go through both loops, and then you can pull on the black yarn gently to just kind of cinch that loop down a little bit. Don't pull it too tight. And then you're not going into that stitch that looks like a stitch. You're going to go into the real stitch behind the black yarn and then bring up a loop and then create your single crochet. And then you just continue one single crochet in each stitch, and when you get to the next color change, come back and I'll make the color change with you. So now this is how my work is looking, and I'm on the opposite side. So on the opposite side, I'm going to make the color change a little bit different because I want the color change to extend down the opposite side of the snout, kind of like what I'm doing on this side. So on this side, I may change colors 2 stitches of the black colored yarn before the color change, and that'll help extend the color change down at an angle on the side of the snout. So there's no right or wrong way to do it. It depends on the look that you want for your color changes for your dog. I'm just showing you some of the tricks that I used for mine. And on the body, we'll always change colors when there's one black colored stitch right before the beige colored stitch. And what that does on the body is it keeps it straight along the body. So here you can see that you're creating a straight line along the body when you make your color changes in the same stitch all the time. So we'll do that for the body. But for the snout, if you do the color changes the way I'm showing you, you can see how it just kind of makes an angle, which is what you want for the snout. So now for the snout, you can see that instead of changing colors, leaving one beige color before the black colored yarn, I'm changing colors right before the black colored yarn on the opposite side of the snout only. So then I'm going to take and drop the beige colored yarn, pick up the black colored yarn, go into the next stitch, go behind the beige colored yarn, pick up the black colored loop, and then crochet bring up yarn over and bring the yarn through both loops to complete a single crochet. And then you're just going to continue making your color changes and making one single crochet in every stitch around until you have a total of 4 rounds. So far we have 1, 2, so we need 2 more, and then come back. So I'm still on my 3rd round, but I just wanted to show you the color change on the opposite side now. So you can see this was where we just left off with the color change on the other side, and I'm back on the opposite side of the nose. And this time I'm going to change colors with 2 black stitches before the color change. So that's an option. Instead of 1 black colored stitch before the color change, you can sometimes change colors with 2 black colored stitches before the color change. So I'm dropping my black yarn, I'm going to gently tug on the black yarn to keep the stitch. You don't want to make it too big, too tight, because then your stitch will disappear. So just a gentle tug if you need to. You don't have to. And then you can see how it creates the color change stitch at an angle. So again, this is my 3rd. So I need a total of 4, so I'll be making 1 more round and then I'll come back. So this is how my color change looks so far on the snout. It's looking good, and I finished 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds with the beige colored yarn, and then you're going to finish up towards the bottom of the snout. So you want to be at the bottom of the snout, and we're going to make the 5th round an increase round. So the 5th round, meaning this starting from the beige, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now our 5th round will be an increase round. And remember, an increase round means that we're going to increase the number of stitches in the round. So right now we have 30 total stitches, but we're going to end up with 36 total stitches. So go ahead and get your yarn marker and place it right where you left off. And then you're still going to be carrying your yarn with you and making your color changes. So you're going to go into the first 4 stitches and make 1 single crochet into each of those 4 stitches, and you're carrying your beige colored yarn. Get my yarn marker out of the way. So I have 1 single crochet into 4 stitches. Then I'm going to make 2 single crochet into the 5th stitch. And you're going to repeat this pattern all the way around, and then you're still going to make your color changes. So I'm going to make this with you. So now I'm going to make, I just made my first increase stitch, 1 single crochet into 4 and then 2 single crochet into the 5th stitch. So I have 2 stitches before the color change, but this time I'm going to change colors with only 1 black stitch before the color change. So my first stitch will be a single crochet with the black colored yarn. Now with my second stitch, I'm going to drop the black colored yarn and then pick up my beige colored yarn because I have the black colored stitch before the color change stitch. So I'm going to go into that last stitch before the color change, behind the black colored yarn, and bring up a loop with my color change stitch. I'm just going to gently pull on my black colored yarn to make sure the loop is around the crochet hook and not too loose. Then I'm going to make my single crochet, which is my second single crochet. And then here is my third single crochet, fourth, and then 2 single crochet into the 5th stitch. And you're going to repeat 1 single crochet into 4 stitches, 2 single crochet into the 5th stitch until you get to the opposite side color change, and I'll work that with you. So this is how my work is looking so far. And I'm on the opposite side. I have 1 stitch left. I just finished 2 single crochet into my 5th stitch, and I have 1 beige stitch before I get to the color change. So I'm going to go ahead and make my first stitch with the beige color and carry the black. So that's 1. Now I'm going to go ahead and change colors. I'm going to drop the beige color and pick up the black colored yarn for my second stitch, second single crochet, third single crochet, fourth single crochet, and then that brings me to my yarn marker. The stitch before will be the 2 single crochet to complete the round. So now you should have a total of 36 stitches in the round after that increase round. So now you can remove that yarn marker, and you're going to make a slip stitch with your black colored yarn into the next stitch. And you can go behind the beige colored yarn. Just yarn over and then bring the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. Then you're going to go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to sew the black colored portion of the snout, because you're going to need your beige color for the beige portion of the snout. And then you're just going to cinch down that knot and then tie a knot with the beige colored yarn to secure it. You don't want it to come undone. And then you can go ahead and leave enough color of the beige colored yarn to sew the beige portion in place, the beige portion of the snout. but for mine I'm going to use that portion in a separate spot. So I'm just going to leave a small loose yarn end for the back because I don't want to carry it to the beige portion to sew it in place. So I'm just cutting a portion of it so I can sew it to the head later. That way you'll have it to sew, because once you start the head you're not going to complete it, and if you're pulling from the center you're not going to be able to cut any amount off to sew for the snout. So just make sure you have enough cut so that you can sew later. And for now, you're going to set the snout aside because we're going to work on the head. Now we're going to make the head. So for the head, you're going to need your main colored yarn, and we're still working with our 3.75 millimeter crochet hook. You're going to start with the magic circle. And you're going to make 6 single crochet into the magic circle. So we're going to start with the slip knot. And then you're going to place 6 single crochet into the magic circle. Then you're going to take your forefinger and thumb, hold the base of the 6 single crochet. You have those 2 loops on the opposite side. Go ahead and pull on one of them. And then take that loose yarn end and pull on that. And then you're just going to turn your work. And you're going to go into that first stitch and make 2 single crochet into every stitch around for a total of 12 stitches. So 2 single crochet into every stitch around for a total of 12 stitches, just like we did for the snout. I'm just showing more of it because sometimes with the black yarn it's a little bit difficult to see. So 2 single crochet into each stitch until you have a stitch count of 12. So in my last stitch, and now I have a total of 12 stitches in the round. So now we're going to start our increase rounds. So if you remember, we are going to be continuing to increase the number of stitches in the round. So for those that already know how to do it, we're going to be increasing to 1 single crochet into 7 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the 8th stitch, which would give you a stitch count of 54. So a total stitch count of 54. So for the first increase round, you're going to make 1 single crochet into the first stitch and then 2 single crochet into the second stitch. And you're going to repeat this pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. So 1 single crochet into the first stitch and then 2 single crochet into the second stitch. So you should have had 18 total stitches for that last round. Then move your yarn marker up, and then you're going to make 1 single crochet into 2 stitches and then 2 single crochet into the 3rd stitch, and you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. So then you should have had 24 total stitches in that last round. Then you just move your yarn marker up, and this time, you should know by now, we're going in chronological order, which means that the next round will be 1 single crochet into 3 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the 4th stitch. And then you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. So for that last round, you should have had 30 total stitches in the round. And now you're going to make 1 single crochet into 4 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the 5th stitch, and repeat that pattern all the way around. So you should have had 36 stitches in that last round. And then the next round is going to be 1 single crochet into 5 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the 6th stitch, and then repeat that pattern. So you should have had 42 stitches in that last round, and then now you're going to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 single crochet into 1 single crochet into 6 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the 7th stitch. So now you should have had 48 total stitches in the round. And this is our last increase round. So the last increase round will be 1 single crochet into 7 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the 8th stitch. And when you finish this round, you're going to have a stitch count of 54. Now after you finish that last increase round, go ahead and move your yarn marker up to where you left off. And then you're just going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch around until you've completed 17 rounds total. So you need 17 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch around. So this is how my work looks after I'm finished, and I finished 17 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch. Then you're just going to set the head aside for now. This, where we left off, just leave a little bit of a loop. That will be towards the back of the head. And we're going to start making the face now towards the front of your work. So now you're going to need your black colored yarn. We're going to make the triangle that goes behind the safety doll eyes. So the first thing you're going to do is just take your black yarn and fold it over on itself to form a loop. Then take your crochet hook, which is your 3.75 millimeter crochet hook, go right through the loop, hold the base of the loop with your middle finger and your thumb, and then just yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through the loop for a slip knot. Go ahead and cinch that knot down, and then just cinch the loop around your crochet hook. And then you're going to make a chain. So I'm just going to show you 4 of them on video tutorial. So you just yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through the loop for 1, 2, 3, 4. So go ahead, finish a chain of 7, and then come back. Now you're going to make 1 single crochet into the 2nd chain from the hook. So just count back 1, 2, and you're going to make a single crochet into that 2nd chain from the hook. So just take your crochet hook, go right into that stitch, and then just bring up a loop, and then make your single crochet. So just yarn over and go through both loops. So that's your first single crochet, and you're going to make 1 single crochet into every stitch back across. And then when you reach the end, you'll have a stitch count of 6. And the reason why you have a stitch count of 6 is because you made a single crochet into the 2nd chain from the hook. So just double check your stitch count when you're finished and make sure that you have a stitch count of 6. Then you're just going to turn your work, and then you're going to go into the next stitch over. So just go right into that next stitch over and bring up a loop for your first single crochet. and then go into the next stitch for your second single crochet, next stitch for your third, next stitch for your fourth, and then your last stitch will be your fifth stitch for the row. So you're going to have 5 stitches in this row. Then you're going to turn your work, and again you're going to go into the next stitch over for your first single crochet, next stitch for your second, next stitch for your third, and then your last single crochet for the row. So you can tell that it's decreasing by 1 stitch after you finish each row, which is what you want, and you're forming a triangle. So then you turn your work again, go into the next stitch for your first single crochet, next stitch for your second single crochet, and then the last stitch will be your third single crochet for the row. And then you're going to turn again, 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and then 1 single crochet into the last stitch for 2 stitches for that row. Then turn your work, and then just make 1 single crochet for the last row, or the tip of the triangle. Then you can go ahead and finish off, and make sure that you finish off enough to sew your triangle onto the dog's face. And then you're going to need 2 of these triangles. So after you finish both of your triangles, then you're going to get your safety doll eye, and you're going to place the safety doll eye through the triangle. So make sure you have the safety doll eye positioned where you want it. And again, I'm using my 15mm safety doll eye. If you like my blue glitter ones, that was actually a 16mm safety doll eye. Then you can take and place, see if you have enough of the post for the safety doll eye to go through the actual crochet work and place the safety latch on the inside of the head. If you don't have enough of the post, you can also place it onto the back of the black triangle. But when you place your safety eyes, try to leave a certain amount of black yarn for the top of the triangle and the sides and the bottom. So this is how I placed mine. For placing the black triangles onto the head, leave the where we left off on the head towards the back, and then go towards the front and place your black triangle. Use your magic circle as a landmark and count down 9 rounds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then the tip of the triangle will be just under that 9th round. So for mine, you can see I got the safety latch onto the inside of the head, and it's very secure. And you can gently tug on the triangle to see, and it's really on well. So I was able to do that with mine, but like I said, you can also put it behind the black triangle too if you want to, and then we're going to sew down the edges of the black triangle with our tapestry needle. Then once you have the one triangle placed, you can go ahead and take your darning needle or tapestry needle and just sew along the edges of the black triangle and secure the black triangle in place. Then you can take and place the other black triangle, and what I do is I count about 5 to 6 stitches here, and mine has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's the bottom of the triangle, and then the top of the triangle has about 9 stitches, and then you can take and sew the other eye in place the exact same way. Just make sure that your triangles are lined up and that your eyes are symmetrical. You don't want them crooked. So then, after you finish sewing the eyes on, then you're going to take your snout and you want to put your tapestry needle onto the black colored yarn. And then you're going to take and line up the bottom portion of the snout first with the bottom edge of the head. And make sure the whole time that you're looking at where the nose is, keeping it straight. And then you're also going to be kind of making sure that the snout will fall over the bottom medial edges of the triangles. So you want the snout to fall over the medial edge of that inner part of the triangle. So then you're just going to sew the bottom couple stitches to hold it in place along the bottom first, and then after you do that, come back and I'll show you how to sew the top portion of the snout in place. Then just take your craft stuffing and place that into the snout. Then you can take and line up the top of the snout. And again, the whole time you're checking the nose, making sure that it's centered. And then I put the edge of the snout over the inner aspect of the triangles. Then you can take that same colored yarn that you left for sewing, put it onto your darning needle or tapestry needle. And then I just left the black yarn for now. I'm going to come back to that for the sides. But I want to secure the bottom first, then put the craft stuffing, and then I'm going to sew and secure the top portion so that the snout is centered. So just come up through from the wrong side, and again I leave enough yarn on the inside for tying a knot. Then you just take and sew the top portion of the snout in place. So now your snout should be perfectly straight and aligned with the eyes, just like this one. Now we're ready to close the head. We're not going to close the head completely. We're going to leave a little bit of a neck. So you're going to resume where you left off on the back. Just take your yarn marker, place it right where you left off. Then you're going to make one single crochet into 7 stitches. So now after you make one single crochet into 7 stitches, then you're going to make your decrease stitch, or single crochet 2 stitches together. So decrease stitches will decrease the number of stitches in the round. So now to single crochet 2 stitches together, you're going to take your crochet hook, go into the next stitch over, bring up a loop. You have 2 loops on your hook, go into the next stitch over and bring up a loop. Now you have 3 loops on the hook. Go ahead and yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through all 3 loops for a decrease stitch, or single crochet 2 stitches together. And you're going to repeat this pattern all the way around. One single crochet into 7 stitches and then single crochet 2 stitches together. Repeating that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. So now you should have a total of 48 stitches in the round. And for those that know how to make the decrease rounds now, we're going to be decreasing in chronological order all the way to one single crochet into 4 stitches and then single crochet 2 stitches together. So now for the next decrease round, remember our previous one was one single crochet into 7 stitches and then single crochet 2 stitches together and gave us a stitch count of 48. So now you're going to make one single crochet into 6 stitches and then single crochet 2 stitches together. So you should have finished that last round with a total of 42 stitches in the round, and the next decrease round is going to be 1 single crochet into 5 stitches and then single crochet 2 stitches together, repeating that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. Then for the last decrease round, you're going to be making 1 single crochet into 4 stitches and then single crochet 2 stitches together. Now our last round we had a total of 36 stitches, and so when you finish this decrease round you'll have a total of 30 stitches. So for our last decrease round is 1 single crochet into 4 stitches and then single crochet 2 stitches together. Then repeat that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. So now you should have a total of 30 stitches in the round, and this is what mine looks like so far. Then you're going to take and move your yarn marker up, and you're going to make only 1 single crochet in every stitch around for 2 rounds. So 2 rounds of only 1 single crochet in every stitch around. So you're going to be maintaining the stitch count of 30. So after you finish your 2 rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch, go ahead and remove your yarn marker, and then you're going to make a slip stitch into the next stitch over. Just go into the next stitch over, then yarn over, turn the hook upside down and bring the yarn through both loops on the hook. Then go ahead and finish off, just yarn over and pull enough yarn through for sewing the head onto the body. So now you can set the head aside for now. So this part is optional, but I'm going to show you how to make the black portion that goes on the back of the head. Just adds a little bit of black coloring to the back of the head without having to make the color changes. So I'm going to show you how I made this strip now.